Hi, my name is Andy Mallet and this is Glimmer DSL for SWT tutorial number 9. So last time I went through an advanced example of data binding in the login sample. Today I'm going to go through something completely different. I'm going to go through Hello Canvas shape listeners, which is the first sample to contain a canvas. So let's start by launching it. And as you can see, we have three geometric shapes. So if I were to point at the first one, it says on top, current shape is square, current event is mouse move because I'm moving the mouse. Let's point at the second one and it's triangle. And then the third one is a circle. Now, if I were to click on the first one, it says mouse down. If I release, mouse up. And it also said drag detected because once I hold the mouse down, I can drag it. So if I drag, it says mouse move because I'm moving and holding the mouse down, which is dragging. And then if I release, mouse up. So let's dig into the code and see how this works. Basically, we have a few labels on top. Two label pairs. The first one over here for current shape, and the second one is current event. And you can see the second label in each pair is data bound unidirectionally to a variable. So here is a shape name, the shape name attribute on self. Here's the listener event on self. So we can assume then that later in the code, these variables are going to be changed. So let's scroll down, and here is the canvas. And you can see the canvas widget is a sort of a widget that is a clean slate that lets you build brand new visual concepts from scratch. So it's a way of building non-native widgets. So native widgets are more like, a text, a label, a checkbox, a radio, a combo, etc. Non-native widgets is you coming up with any geometric concepts that you could think of and building them into your own widget, or simply drawing them on top of a canvas. So this canvas has a background of white, otherwise it would have a background of gray, which is the default in most desktop apps or on most platforms, but we have a background of white. And the first shape is rectangle, and first it takes the x and y coordinates of its top left corner, which is 25 by 25, and then the width and height are 50 by 50, so it's a square. It's got a background of red, so everything is basically done declaratively with the same simplicity of declaring standard widgets. And then within the rectangle, you can declare listeners, and as you can see here, let's actually bring this back to the way it was. Actually, let's close it for now. So here it says these listener events are limited to the rectangle bounds. So for example, on mouse move, any logic that executes here will execute only when I'm within the rectangle bound. So if I were to launch this again, you can see only when I'm here it triggers, and it changes the shape name to square. If I go here, it changes it to triangle. If I go back, it's square. And then on mouse down, we'll actually change the listener event to mouse down. So if I click, it says mouse down. If I hold the mouse down, it becomes a drag event. So that's why it said drag detected. So that fires the second listener. And then the fourth listener fires when I release. So all the shapes pretty much have the same listeners. And they're setting the shape name, the listener event in each one of them. But also you can put a sort of a global listener on the canvas that will happen anywhere on the canvas. And this is needed for dragging properly. So when I hold a square and I drag it, in a way I'm kind of going outside its original bounds. So it's important to keep the on mouse move event that is general as well, to keep moving the dragged shape, because right now I'm within its bounds, but when I move it this way, I'm exiting the bounds, but then the shape gets moved to the right, so then I stay within the bounds. So it's important to keep an event outside of the shape as well when you're doing dragging. And by the way, here it's referencing a variable that was set earlier, dragged shape. So if I were to go back here, you'll notice that on drag detected, it is setting the dragged shape to the rectangle, Whereas if I were in the triangle event for drag detected, or oval, for example, for the circle, then that's the one that becomes the dragged shape. And by the way, an oval is a sort of an ellipse. It also has a top left corner, but it also has a width and a height that are kind of like the diameter horizontally and vertically. So if they're equal, it's a circle. A polygon is the way we create triangles in SWT, or it's one of the ways to do it. So a polygon is a set of points, so 3 points, so x, y, x, y, x, y. So they're alternating x, y coordinates. So I mean, this should give you a pretty good idea of how to build custom shapes and how to manipulate them using events. You can look into the other Hello Canvas samples for other applications of shapes and other examples, how to do drag and drop with them, and how to even compose them with Hello Custom Shape. So that concludes the tutorial for today. In order to learn more about Glimmer DSL for SWT, check out the GitHub project.